Well, back in our Hollywood studio previously, I had a fascinating conversation with Dr. Sheila Forman. Let's take a look at that right now. Joined now in studio by Dr. Sheila Forman. As always, I love to say she's a great friend of the program here at Health This Week. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
And we're being so polite to one another, but this is not what we want to talk about.
No,
we touched on this last week, where there's a lack of civility, it seems, in today's society, but there's a general coarseness that seems to be being pushed by entertainment. I mean, when you watch a television show now, people are screaming at each other. And that seems to be more entertaining, at least in the minds of Hollywood. And it really gets me concerned. I mean, I have an 8-year-old at home, and I remember one time we were watching a basketball game. She was sitting in my lap, and then this commercial came on for one of these cut-em-up, slash-em-up movies, and I couldn't grab the remote fast enough, trying to keep her sheltered from that kind of thing. I mean, what's a parent to do these days?
Turn off the television? You know, it's such an important question.
Not now.
Right, not on this show. It's such an important question. I've been thinking about it since our last show, and I think part of the situation is we brought in so much reality television, where we took cameras into people's homes, and what made great television, if we want to use that term, is the more volatile family, the more aggressive family, the family that had more conflict, where they were yelling and screaming at each other, where they're having temper tantrums and all of that. That made better television, so we're seeing more of it. And as you and I have talked about so many times, children imitate what they see. And if they're watching this on television, if their parents are behaving this way, that's what they learn, that's what they do, and the world goes on that way.
I know. Well, of course, you know, we had John and Kate plus 8 minus 1 divided by 2. I mean, it seems like the show gained more traction the more problems the family had. And that's not a good example for those of us who are watching.
No, it isn't. And the best advice I have for parents is monitor what your children are watching. Pay attention. You and I have talked about that there are websites out there where parental information is given for movies that are coming out, for television shows, so that you can pay attention. Use parental controls when they're available on your computers and on your television sets, so that you can demonstrate to your kids what is appropriate behavior, what they're allowed to watch, and then talk to them about inappropriate behavior. When you witness something, let's say you witnessed a parent yelling at a child in the playground, talk to your child about that. What did they think about it? How did they feel? What would have been a more appropriate response in that circumstance than the father yelling at the child?
You know, you're so very right, and my wife Tracy's amazing when it comes to that. If we're watching something on television and somebody starts yelling at someone, my wife will instantly say, "No, Gabrielle, she's not being very nice, and it's no way to behave." And she nips it right in the bud.
Right there.
And but you've really got to pay attention to what your kids are watching. As Sheila said, there are so many websites that you can kind of preview what's being done out there, know what content is, so you don't even have to watch it. And there are other parents who are kind of watchdogging it for you.
Right. And they'll tell you if there's too much violence or if the language is not appropriate for children of a certain age, things like that.
We're almost out of time, but can you envision a time when maybe this will take another, I mean, we took a 180, as you said, when reality television became popular. Now everybody seems to be screaming at each other. Can you envision a time when that might 180 on us again and we'll get back to a more calm demeanor?
Well, I hope so. They say that we cycle in decades of, periods of 20 years. We go through various cycles, so maybe 20 years from now, maybe Gabby and her children will have a better chance to watch quality television than we have right now.
Hopefully it'll be sooner than that. Once again, Dr. Sheila Forman. Doctor, thank you so much.
My pleasure.